Hi, Lydia. Hi, Michael.
Hello,
Hey,
hello.
how you doing?
I'm doing good. So for everybody that's tuned in, you can see we have a new face. We have a special guest. His name
Hey,
is Michael.
yeah.
And I'm going to let Michael tell all of you a little bit about himself. So,
Wow, that's good because I can go on and on about me. I'm
uh-oh,
do it about me. I can tell you about me.
I got my
The
bell, y'all. I'm just playing.
the best part about me is that I'm a dad. I'm a dad. I'm a single
Hey.
dad, and I have children that adore me. And I work on myself every day to be a champion in their lives. And just before I got on this broadcast, my oldest daughter, she came to visit me from Orlando, and she pulled up, Daddy, I'm here. I'm like, yo, I got to get on this podcast. She's like, yo, I'm coming right now. So we were hanging out, and she thanked me for being her dad. She thanked me for the tools that I've given her. And my other two were there, like, yeah, Dad, man, you the man. That's my son. Logan. His name is Logan, and he's like,
Uh-oh.
and I appreciate you. So that is me in the front.
Wait a minute.
That's my
Time out. Time out.
time out.
You have a daughter that can drive?
Yeah, I have a daughter. She's 24 years old. I have another daughter. She's 32. She's 30.
Hey.
Yeah, I was a high school dad. So
Oh,
yeah.
you look almost as young as me.
Hey, almost. See, you put that almost in there. You put the cap on there. Hey, listen. This don't grow out black. This is that 10. I got the 10 on this. and my girls, they give me this mask and everything. Daddy, put this on to keep you youthful. So I want to be youthful. So I listen to them. I
Gotcha.
do what it takes to fight off the aging thing.
Well, they do
But yeah,
say black don't crack because Lydia, did that throw you off? When
Yeah,
he
it
was like,
did.
I'm like, wait, he said his daughter drove.
yeah, she drove. Yeah, she's on her own. She does her own thing. And I misspoke.
Oh,
Oldest, she's 34 years old. We're 17.
Good Lord.
Yeah, she's 30. She's 34. So that's
bruh.
my.
Wait.
Yeah.
You hide it well. You wear it well.
Yes.
Hey, yeah.
People gonna be like, Vonda, come on, nuh-uh. That,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, whoa, you're getting it in.
Hey, good. And yeah, about me, those are my why. That's the why I do what I do. That's the why I go so hard. That's the why I try and keep myself young, because they need me. They want to do things, and Dad, come on, let's do this. Hey, let's do it. And uh, I had the ability, to play ball. So ball gave me the opportunity to go to school, go to college, and graduating from that, moving through the school system. I used to teach at one point. My first degree was in physical education because I was an athlete, and I fell into that because I went to school to be a medical doctor. I wanted to be a medical doctor, and my coach at the time, Coach Parker, Alfred Parker, he's dead. He's a tremendous man. He told me this, and this is how he talked. Gainer, ain't gonna be no doctor, boy. I ain't bring you to school to be a doctor. I said, what I'm gonna do, coach? I brought you to school to shoot ball. That's what you're gonna do. But you're gonna go into education and be a coach like me. Look at me, I'm pretty. And that was the end of that conversation. So I switched my major because I went to Florida Memorial University, and they are having classes at UM. So we had to travel over to UM. I was taking those biology classes, then coming back and doing all of this stuff my freshman year, and I was missing practice. We would go on the road, and I would have books stacked up like this, and I just was not focused because my focus was on education. That's why I came to school, right? But he wanted me to play ball. But when I switched my major, everything just kind of like it went very quickly and very fast for me. And then after undergrad, I got a job in the school system. I was coaching, teaching physical education, and I had the blessing of being involved with some beautiful Black men that always lifted me. Okay, so my principal, Arthur Lindsay Jr., he told me, they kind of had the same voice. Gainer, you don't want to be out here on this field all your career. And we were out on the baseball field, and it was like a walk. He had came out there to see me, talking about something. And he said, you're gonna make a trail. He said, look back. And he said, look at Evans. And Miss Evans at the time had been there 30 years. And from her office out to the field, it was a trail where she walked. She had made a trail. He said, you don't want to make no trail. And there wasn't a trail where I was. And I said, what do I do? He said, you're going to go back to graduate school. You're going to go to graduate school. And at the time, it's like 5 of us in graduate school that worked at the school, young teachers. So I had a circle of friends that had swallowed that pill of advancement.
Okay.
You know, so we got on that train and rode it out all the way to the end, all the way to the doctoral program, you know, and all of them are doing well, and they're still my friends today.
Awesome.
And that's part of it. But in that, I had an entrepreneurial bug that I got from my mom, from my grandfather, everybody always on their own businesses. And while I was there at that school teaching physical education, you know, once the kids get out, and at this time, you could believe it, some of my class, they had 90 kids in them. You know, the physical education was the dumping ground, you know, for children, you know. Right. And I couldn't, you know, what are you going to do with 90 kids? And, you know, and I think it may be that conversation that the principal came out, he was like, Gaynor, just keep him out here, you know. And, you know, I positioned myself by the fence, hey, throw out the balls on the field, you know, do your thing, you know. And basically that's what I can do with 90 kids. I can't do anything else.
Right.
But at the time I started writing these fictional novels. And I would, you know, pass out 2 or 3 chapters to the people that were in the school, and they were like, this is pretty good. So what I did, once I finished the first book, and the name of the book was Dumb as Me, and I put it out. You know, I had it self-published and everything, and it caught traction. And with that one book, I sold over 100,000 copies of that book hand to hand. You know, I was going out, I was hustling, I was getting it. And I had a lot of success with that book. And you know, 4 others came after that, and that publishing really took off for me. And that's what I did. And I was glad that I was able to do that, because it positioned me, once I got ill and had to step away from the school system, I still had that residual income coming in. Yeah, so it was able to sustain me and sustain my family. And, you know, and currently I'm still a serial entrepreneur, as you can see, you know, TLC. I take those products because, you know, they help me. You know, I told you that. If I didn't tell you, you know, I got diagnosed with 2 rare medical conditions. I always knew I was special, but I mean, to have 2 rare medical conditions, I'm like, dang, you know. And at one point it put me in a wheelchair, and I wasn't able to live, you know, the way that I was used to living. You know, I'm used to being a 250-pound guy, lifting weights, running, you know, swimming in the ocean, not swimming in the pool. You know, I swim in the ocean. How tall are you? Sharks. I'm sorry?
How tall are you?
I'm 6'5". I'm 6'5".
Wow.
Yeah. So imagine a 6'5" guy going all the way down to 135 pounds. You know, ooh. I'm walking around. My head was the same size, but my body was, you know, looked like a big bobblehead. You know, and this is the thing. I died. I passed away through that illness. I passed away, and it was over a course of 7 years that it took for that to happen. And I was misdiagnosed for 7 years. And, you know, when I did emerge, I was surrounded by these doctors, you know, at my rebirth, and the nurses and the doctor, you know, this lady's like, Mr. Gaynor, do you know where you are? I'm like, yeah, I'm on Earth, you know. And I was very happy, because the last thing that I remember are my small children. They were on the staircase, and they're picking me up, putting me on this gurney to take me out. You know, that's the last thing that I remember. So me coming back, me being reborn, having this new vitality and zeal for life, you know, it was great. It's just that when I came back, I was in a wheelchair, and I didn't know how to be that guy. And, you know, I'm gonna be transparent, which, you know, your story is what it's all about. You know, I'm sharing myself with you right now. And
we appreciate. I'm all in.
Hey, you all in? All right.
Yeah. Because I didn't know that. I did not know any of this about you. And I will tell you, first of all, my last name is Gaynor, from marriage. So I hope you're not related to my ex-husband. Just gotta put that out there. No, it's okay.
We all related, man. You a man. What's up, cuz? Cuz, where you been? You know. Yeah, but I was in that wheelchair, right? And I was on 23 prescriptions, drinking alcohol. I was depressed, you know. Shame to say.
And depression is real. Don't be ashamed.
Hey, I was depressed. I didn't know how to be that guy. I didn't know how to do that, you know. And I rehabbed my way out of the wheelchair, and I exchanged the wheelchair for the couch. You know, now I'm on the couch. So I gained all my weight back on the couch, and then I got up to a big and buttery 295, just like that. You know, all the muscles, everything was gone, you know, and I didn't look at myself as 295 pounds. I saw myself as 5 pounds from 300, you know, and I was like, Mike, you got to do something about that. You got to get up, you know, because my kids, me being the athlete guy, you know, they were, even when they were small, you know, we would run together, we get out and, you know, run, especially my boy, you know, and now it's my daughter who's a track person, you know, we would get out and run and they would want me to get out and I couldn't, you know, I was unhealthy, you know,
Right.
so that was one of the reasons why, you know, you see this TLC thing, you know, the products, they helped me go from 23 prescriptions down to 3 prescriptions, you know, help me get that weight off. So this representation of Total Life Change that I'm in now, it isn't about the products for me. It's about what the products have done for me. And I'm sharing my story, my experience with people. So if there's anyone out there that has just given up because of your health, there is help, and there's a natural way to do it. So this is what this representation is. And, you know, and right now I'm happy, you know, and and I'm at peace. And that's something
that's what matters.
So hard to find, something that's so hard to find for us, you know, because there's always circumstances. And I always tell people, go up, you know, go up, create the best version of yourself. And that's what I am doing every day. I was going to say attempting, because I'm not going to, either you're doing it or you're not, you know.
Hey.
I'm a doer, you know, and that's what I'm doing. So that's a little bit about your boy, you know. So,
I mean, that's awesome. That's a testimony.
That's an amazing story. I mean, of how you overcame and everything. I have nothing but the biggest respect for even you not giving up, because I know there are days that you might have wanted to, because it's not easy. It's not easy to overcome stuff like that. I mean, you died. So, and then to come back and, you know, revitalize yourself. I mean, that's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. And like you said, those days, all of the days where it's just you. And, you know, you have people that come around, they put their arm around you, you pick up the phone and they give you those encouraging words. And then when you click and hang up, when it's just you, it takes much sometimes just to lift yourself up when you're not feeling well, or when you have these bills hanging over your head. You know, it's not the food that needs to be in the house isn't there, and you're like, how can I do it? And it would be so easy just to say, forget it.
Right.
You know? Or you lean on someone else to help you, and then that becomes a habit, and then you become a burden to them, you know. So, and then that even adds to the depression that you're going through, or what's going on in your head. So I thank you for saying that, because, you know, I always plug in, I'm gonna use this a lot, the why, Michael, why you know, hey, what you got to do this, you know, you have to do this thing. And if you're not strong enough to do it for you, do it for yourself. I mean, do it for your kids, you know, but they need you. They're looking at me. I have a son, and, you know, he's an example. I'm the example of what he should be, you know, and I can't, you know, my mom, single parent, and I didn't know how much I didn't know until I went to college, and I had a best friend there, at, you know, from 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. He was my friend, you know, he's Jonathan Wilson, you know, was my friend, and he used to know things, and I was like, yo, man, Jay, how you know that? Oh, my dad told me. You know, we were boxing and everything, and he'll slip and pop me. I'm like, how do you know to do that? My dad taught me. And I'm like, I'm behind. I knew I was behind in the 7th grade, because a male wasn't there teaching me the things that I needed to know. And this is no cut on my mother.
Right.
Excellent. Tremendous provider. Everything that she could give me, I had. Everything that she knew to do for me, she did it. But there is a thing with a boy and a man that needs to be met, things that he needs to be taught. And my grandfather, he was there, you know, to show me certain things and tell me certain things, but he didn't live in the house with me, you know, and my interaction with him was minimal. So a lot of coaches that I came in contact with, and one of my coaches, and this is the beauty of playing sports, because if you don't have that male influence, you're able to connect with a male, connect with the team, and learn certain values. So I always had that around me. And there's another part of it if that influence is terrible, because everybody's not lined up to move you forward, you know. So Russell Swilly, Coach Swilly, you know, he taught me to never compete. So in the ninth grade, he was my coach, and we still have communication today. You know,
that's awesome.
Yeah, we still talk. Facebook, we can stay connected. You know, he's an amazing man, very intelligent man. He told me to not to compete when I go out there. You know, he told me, he said, "Son, when you go out there, I don't want you to compete." And I was like, "What do you mean? You know, we gonna compete? We gonna, you know, compete?" He's like, "No, I don't want you to compete. I want you to dominate. Go out in this space and dominate this game."
Yeah.
And it like it did something for me. You know, I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go out here and kill these. I'm about to dominate." Right now, for years, I lost that narrative. So I picked that narrative back up and I plugged it into my life. Why compete when you can dominate? And you take businesses, for example, like a McDonald's, right? They don't have to advertise. Coke, they don't have to advertise, but they do. Why? Because they want to dominate the market, you know? So your life, dominate your life. You don't have to have you're not competing with someone else. You know, you're in a position to dominate. You want to dominate the space. Anything that you are doing, you want to dominate that space. You have a list of goals, write them down, you speak them out, get around people that are blessings to themselves first. Okay. A lot of people want to be blessed. You got to get around people that are blessings to themselves. Get around that and speak blessings into their lives. They speak blessings into your life, you know, and then you begin to expand. All right. Because I guarantee you, if you're around a circle of people that are progressive, around a circle of people that are making money, around a circle of doers, guess what? You're going to be that type.
It rubs off. Yeah.
You're the next one. You're the next one.
That's true.
Yes. So talk to them.
Well, how long have you been a single parent?
I have been a single parent for 2.5 years.
So what's the hardest thing? What's the hardest thing that you've encountered as a single parent? And what's one phrase, few words of wisdom that you could pass on to somebody else and that might be in your position?
Okay. The hardest thing that I've encountered is that I don't have all the answers. I realize that I don't know.
Nobody does.
Right.
I want to always say the right thing. And my son has this thing when I talk to him, I change my voice. I'm son, now this is the process of this. And he was like, he tells me dad mode activated, you know, because I go into this dad mode. I want to, as a single parent, I know that there's a part missing, especially for especially for my girl. And she's older. She's 18 now, you know. She's 18, but she's still in school, still with me, and she's under me, you know. And I always want to give her what she needs, the real of it. This is what happens in the real world. Don't be fooled. And I talk to him straight up. I don't hold back.
That's awesome.
That is something that I think parents should do. Don't sugar for them. Because in working in school system, this is one of the advantages that I had. I've seen so much in the conversations that they had, and then they go home and the parent tries to sugarcoat it. Listen, they're going to get it from their friends, from social media now, from any place else. Let them get it from you. Tell them straight up. You know, tell them what, as we say down here, tell them what the business is. I'm going to tell you what's up. So that is one of the things that I would tell a parent. And one of the things that works for me is that I give them an opportunity to express themselves, you know, to let me know where they are, you know, up here. because I'm looking for a way that I can enhance, help. And I communicate that with them. I let them know that there's nothing that I'm going to say that is going to bring you down. Now, it may cause you discomfort in what I say and the actions that I have to take, but it's all to make you better. You know, what you have lived, I've done it already. What you have experienced, I've experienced those things already. And if I have not experienced it to the letter, I've had some dealings with it. So if you let me know what's going on, I can help you. And I've had those courageous conversations with my children. And that's something that parents need to do, to have a courageous conversation where they feel comfortable coming to you without being ridiculed, without the threat of being punished or beaten, where they can talk to you. Because, you know, this is what happens. Anytime that we go through something with someone, you know, and you get angry with them, we stop talking to one another and we are avoiding each other. The thing that has to happen for us to come back together is communication.
Right.
So let's take that part out. Let's throw that away. Let's have this conversation now. If you feel that it's gonna hurt me or what have, I'd rather be hurt right now than hurt later on. You know, if you feel that it's gonna take something away from me, it's not, because I'm gonna love you through it. I don't care what you do. I'm gonna love you through that. You're my baby. You know, we gonna work this out. So I communicate that to them, and that was a process to get to that point. Now, my baby, Madison, you know, she'd be like, Dad. When she hit me with the Dad, what's up, baby? Let's talk. And my son here, I need to talk to you, man. Hey, let's talk. Oh, come on outside. Let's go for a walk. He does me like I do him, you know. I'm like, no, let's go for a walk. Let's talk. I used to talk him up. Now he takes me on a walk and we have a conversation. And that's something that is very important, you know, in parenting. You know, in the times that we live in today, there are so many things that they need to know. They need to know, protect themselves, you know, outside of us, you know, and you have to be able to have those conversations with your children so that they will listen to you and they will take in that information. I remember listening to my grandfather. I remember listening to my mother, you know, my coaches, my uncle, you know, people that had poured into me. And at the time, I may be looking over here or looking down and looking wherever. Years later, I reference those conversations. So even if they seem, and these young kids, their mind moves so fast, you know, with the internet, clicking on, clicking off, they want instant stuff. They hear you.
Yes.
Know that they hear you. Know that they are listening to you. Know that they are soaking it up, right? And I don't care if you have a child that is troubled, you know, if he's going through some things, you know, listen for the one thing that he's doing or she's doing right. And start with
That's
that.
important.
On the back, build them up, you know, make a big deal about it. Clap them up. It does so much for them, because if you have children that are leaving the house going to school, it's a jungle. It's a jungle. It's something that it's a whole nother way of getting down. I'm so glad that I was born when I was born, that I don't have to go through what they do with social media and not saying something right or not liking a friend's post or not texting back immediately, you know, leaving them on red. Man, I was busy. You know, so, you know, the stuff that they go through, to be able to just have a honest conversation with them, and they have a belief in you, and to know that you are transparent and truthful to them. You know, oh, they're just a kid. They don't know. They know when you are lying. They know when you are misleading them. You know,
children are smart.
They're very smart. They know when you're working them, when you guide them over here to this portion. They know, you know. But I love to be at the point where I can just ask something and it's done, or we have to discuss something, you know, because life has boundaries. Life has rules, you know, and everybody's not going to be forgiving or understanding as I am. So when it's time for me to, you know, hey, listen, this is what's going on, then I'm that guy, you know. But those times have become few, very few now, because I put in the work to get to this point. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to be a parent, and it's beautiful to see what you have done come back to you, and an appreciation.
Agreed.
Awesome.
Lydia, did you have any questions for Michael?
Do you find yourself often getting, because you said you were a coach for several years, do you still get a lot of your kids' friends and people in the neighborhood or whatever trying to come to you, hey, I have this problem, you know what I mean? Do you feel like, do you seem to get a lot of people to come to you for answers?
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of Facebook and social media, is that I still can stay connected to those young men that want to reach out to me, and they do. And the definition of a coach, and this is, I pride myself on being a coach. Even now, I can coach you up. A coach is taking your abilities, those abilities, and making you better with what you have. Okay. So when they do come to me, and they some of them are grown men now, and they have young children, and they will remember something that I said to them. And then they will ask a question about something that's going on in their lives and ask me for advice. And I give that advice freely. And, you have to put your arm around someone when they come to you, because it's much more than what they're saying. It's much more to what they're saying. And I love it because I've built a rapport with them where they have that level of trust with me. And I have a young man that's in my life right now. And this guy he was in the 8th grade, and he had failed a couple of years. And he just didn't want to do nothing. I mean, he's a big kid. And he was giving me a hard time. He wouldn't sit down on his number. He wouldn't dress out. He was bullying the other kids. I had to pull him in my office. I'm like, bro, I'm about to lose my job playing this around. You got to tighten up. And so as a last resort, he just wasn't listening. I called his mom, right? She answered the phone. And I said, yeah, I'm calling about XYZ. She's like, look, don't call me anymore unless it's to identify his body. And she hung up the phone right then.
That's heartbreaking.
Oh, everything changed for me with this one child, and with all of the children. And I think this is my 2nd year of teaching. They got it hard. Some of them. And I had an opportunity to visit his home, and he had a mattress that was on the floor. He was sleeping on the floor. The water was off and everything like that. But I stayed in contact with this young man throughout the years, and I helped him some clothing going through. And he lives in Tampa now, and he's extremely successful. He has a care service. He has a lawn service and a mobile car wash, and he has a couple of
awesome.
that he serviced. So we stay in contact, and he wants me to know how well he's doing, and anything that he runs into that he feels that I'm able to help him with, he does that. And this is the beauty of it. We've had conversations on different topics where he was like, no, coach, let me put you up on game, and let me tell you how this goes. So I sit back and I listen. And it's very good when it comes back. And
that's awesome.
So I'm always open to my students, my former students, and people that you meet, and given a kind word. And anybody that's going to see this broadcast, you see a child and you have an opportunity to say something to them, to pour into them, do it.
Yes.
If you have an opportunity to pour into a parent of children,
yes,
pour into them. And there's this story, and I'm gonna share with you real quick, where this man, he was he was riding a bus, and he's sitting there, and his children are going crazy, and people are looking at this man like, man, you need to get control of these kids. They calling over people, they rolling, tumbling on all over people, and the dad's just sitting there doing nothing. So finally, this one person says to them, hey man, why don't you get control of your kids, man? What are you doing? And he looks at the person and he says, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Kids, come sit down. And he stands up when he's leaving. He said, their mother just passed away, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to tell them. Right? So you never know what a person is going through when you say,
fact.
These badass kids over here,
That's true.
You never know.
Yeah.
So, hey, be kind to someone, because they may need you to uplift them. They may need that encouragement from you. They may be on the edge, and you pull them back just by you being your genuine, authentic self. If something and you say, I want to say something, but I don't want to offend, say it. Say it, because you can change someone's life with a few words. All right. So yeah, I'm always open to my students to come back and chit chat with me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And before we wrap up, do you have a message? I know you've done a lot. I've read your bio, but is there a parting message or words of wisdom? What's something else that you'd like to get across or share, whether it's a professional tip, personal tip? You're a Black male. Black men go through a lot. Whichever direction you want to go in.
Okay. Yeah. Being a Black male, listen to any young man that is going to listen to this. You are going to be tried. All right. You are going to be tried. Now, and I'm gonna be straight up with you. Just because you can whoop a person's ass doesn't mean. All right. Because you got to be willing to pay the price. There are consequences to actions, and a lot of times you'll be set up to make that call. You know, watch me provoke him. Watch how he act. He a savage. All right. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Know that you are special. Know that you are magnificently made. Know that there is something beyond that moment, and handle it differently. Just because you can, that doesn't mean you have to, because there are consequences to those actions. And you have to believe that you have to have an undeniable belief in yourself. You have to have an undeniable belief in your greatness. You are unstoppable. You are unstoppable. So why would you let someone else stop you? Why would you let someone else think that they can stop you? I walk into places, there are certain people that know that they can't even talk to me. Why? Because it's coming off me, because that energy that I give, and that influence that they're going to have on me is not going to be uplifting in my life. They know.
Yes.
Hey, you got to look away, so you have to nurture that part of you. It's in you. You are created for greatness. If you are down on yourself and think that it cannot happen, it can happen. At 17 years of age, I was facing 15 years in prison. All right. 15 years in prison. Okay. That's with the wicked jump shot and all of that stuff, because it's something that I did on the weekend that had absolutely nothing to do with school. Kicked out of school, forced to go and get my GED. Yeah. I was at Rutherford, but forced to go and get my GED and moved on all the way up to a doctoral graduate. Yeah. So whatever challenges that you are faced with, all right, whatever challenges you are faced with, look, you can overcome that moment, because it's just a moment. And I tell people all the time, do not allow circumstances to control your behavior, because circumstances change. Mm-hmm. Circumstances change.
They do.
Right? And you have to be able to move on from that moment, because it's just in the moment. Anybody that's in Panama City, the house was blew away. My mother's house was stripped down. There's nothing. Man, I'm down looking around. I'm like, how am I going to help her? What am I going to do? My grandmother's house blew away. The place that was all of my childhood memories that I love blew away. What do? You move forward. That's what you do. You move forward. You get the wind behind your back. You grit your teeth. And you move forward. You 10 toes down, and that's what you have to do.
That's true.
In circumstances, because circumstances change, and you have a choice, all right? And oftentimes, and I still am faced with these choices where I can choose up or I can choose down. But because of my maturity, the down choices, they're very few, okay? But at one time, all the down choices were lined up for me. I just had to pick which one I wanted to go down with, so stop for a moment. That little voice that you hear in your head that says, don't do it, listen to it. Okay, because every time I've ever had that voice and I went and did it anyway, it was not good results for me.
It's true.
Right? And it's okay to be, hey, my mother used to tell me, blame it on me. Tell them you can't do it because of me. Man, my mama said I couldn't do that, man. I got to go home, bro. I got to wash the dishes. I got to go rake the yard, whatever. But get yourself out of a situation, because the best days of your life, you haven't seen them yet. You haven't seen them yet, and I'll tell you this, and I'm going to stop. The past, if you have done something bad in the past, all right, and a person continues to bring that up or brings that up, the past is only brought up to hurt you. All right. And if you are around people that are doing what, well, you used to be this, you're different. Tell them, erase that old version of me that's playing in your head. Delete that. And if they continue to do that, you need to disconnect yourself from them.
That's right.
That's right.
They don't add any value to your life. My parting advice for you: surround yourself with people that care for you, genuinely. Surround yourself with people that want to see you prosper. And I said earlier about people that can be a blessing to you,
Mm-hmm.
people that are blessing themselves. You want to be around those type of people, because it's like, I'll give you an example. Examples work. It's like two batteries, right? In the remote control, when you take the batteries out, the battery needs to be changed. You change both of them. Next time, only take out one and put in a full charge battery next to that dead battery, and watch the TV. It'll come on. This is what happens in life. We connect our charged cells next to somebody that's dead. And what happens is it's draining the power from you. All right? We do that in life. You cannot connect yourself to a dead battery. Two charged batteries charge one another, and therefore the life goes on. They sustain a greater life. And you have to get yourself around charged people that are plugged in to being uplifting, plugged into change, plugged into magnificence, plugged into financial freedom. You have to plug into those people. All right? And this is it. And this is it. I promise you I'm done. Talk without action. Gibberish. Okay?
Along the lines of faith without work.
Works. Boom.
You can want it and wish for it all you want. Hope is eternal. You can hope for it all you want. If you're not doing anything, you're not going to get any different results.
True indeed. Absolutely.
All right. Michael, where can everybody find you at? If they want to follow you, contact you, and of course, I'm going to put all of this information in the description of this episode, but let everybody know where they can find you at.
Simply at Mike Gainer. That's M-I-K. Leave off the E. M-I-K-Gainer. And you got me. At Mike Gainer on any social media. You have me. Reach out to me. Follow me. Hit me in the inbox. I'm always down to go up. If you're a person that wants to go up, I love that. Let's go up together.
Awesome. I like that. Lydia?
Oh, well, Mike, thank you for your words of inspiration. I appreciate it. But you can find me I didn't say anything too much today, but you can find me at Just Lydia 111 on all social media, but I'm predominantly on Facebook. So if you really want to get a hold of me, that's where you would find me. And you can check out our merch at ojusttalk.net. And we should be adding some more stuff. I have another mock-up to put up today. So
awesome. That's a surprise to me, guys. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait.
Yep. So,
all right. And of course, everybody knows my favorite social media platform is Twitter because it's the best. But you can find me on all social media platforms at Just Talk or Vonda. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you liked what you saw, please hit us up, leave us some comments. And if there's a topic that you would like to see us discuss, let us know that too. So everybody remember, the comeback is always greater than the setback, and we'll see you guys next time. Stay safe, everybody.
Deuces.